That's kind of how I roll. Anyway, happy Tuesday to all of you, even though I know many of you are not happy on this Tuesday. Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports, because Ramie, they did it again. And let me just say this. I am not one of those guys. I am not one of those fans of basketball or any sport that, blame the refs for every loss. Oh, they lost because of the refs. Oh, look at the free throw discrepancy. But it is disingenuous for us to walk into the studio today and not throw our hands up and go, what in the world? We all saw it. We all saw Kevin Huerter get absolutely smashed 3 times. Hand in the back, pushing him off the shot, hits him in the elbow, then hits him in the hand through the follow-through. And Ramie, again, the NBA, I guess trying to make us all feel better, last 2-minute report, guess what? Kevin Huerter was fouled.
And Steph Curry traveled.
Yes.
And, I said after 6 days ago. 6 days ago, Nick. 6 days ago, I expressed some frustration with this 2-minute report. I like the idea of it. I like the transparency. But what is transparency without accountability? Like, what good is it the next day to tell us, whoops, we screwed up and y'all could have maybe won that game? And Vlad and JJ said, welcome to Sacramento in terms of my frustration with this 2-minute report. I didn't know they meant 6 days later.
Yeah.
6 days later.
Yes, consistency. I guess you could say the officials are consistent, just in the wrong way.
And, I kind of defended the referees on the Tyler Hero traveling call. And my defense then was, I didn't see it. You didn't see it. None of us really saw it in real time. And even in the immediate aftermath of that game, nobody was really talking about Tyler Hero traveling until the 2-minute report came out and people were pulling up videos and everything else. Man, last night, sitting on my couch in real time, I was like, oh, that's a foul. And you saw it. They saw it. Mike Brown saw it. Steve Kerr saw it. Everybody saw it. Everybody who had eyes on that game yesterday, we all saw it. We all saw what happened. We all know what a foul looks like. And that's what a foul looks like. And that referee was standing right there. There's no defending this one, man. That was a terrible call. That was terrible non-call.
Absolutely freaking brutal. Here was Mike Brown in the postgame.
No, it was a foul. We don't have to reach out to the NBA. The NBA knows it's a foul, and basically they'll tell us that they missed a call, but you still lost. So it is what it is. Again, we have to be better. Golden State, championship level team, and they turned it up in the second half. But like I said, if there's a play, especially at the end of the game, you got to make a call. You got to call a game the right way, and that call right there was not done the right way.
In the middle of that, it's almost like, I don't know if it's nervous, awkward, or angry laughter from Mike Brown. He doesn't know what else to do. He's just like, he has no idea what else to say, no idea what else to do. He came out with a flamethrower after the Miami Heat game and lit into the officials and said, look, I know the name on the front of the jersey, stood up for his guys. That's inexcusable. And here we are, as you said, just a few days after that, reliving this nightmare of officiating at the end of a game, literally getting in the way of a finish. Here was De'Aaron Fox with the media last night, thanks to Sean Cunningham of Fox 40.
Did you see that last play on Huerter? It looked like he was fouled at the end of the game.
Whoever the official was right there knew he was fouled too, so.
Again, it would be disingenuous to look at this and say that did not impact the game. And when you look at the Huerter foul, you can say that because Huerter goes to the line for 3 free throws. It's a 3-point game. He could tie it and push it into overtime. But there was the other call that you mentioned, Ramie, that might be even worse because if you called the travel on Steph Curry, and apparently the memo to officiating crews in the NBA is don't call travels against Kings opposition in crunch time.
No, don't do that.
Especially when there's like less than 20 seconds left.
Run down the court.
So Steph travels at 16.6 seconds left. At that moment, if you remember, De'Aaron Fox hits the tough jump shot mid-range. At that very moment, you're down 114, 113 with a timeout. You're down by 1 point. 16.6 seconds left on the clock with a timeout. You have full control of that basketball game at that moment. You can call a play, And if it doesn't work, hopefully get the rebound, foul, extend the game.
Mhm.
There are a million different scenarios that could literally play out in the final 16 seconds of a basketball game that you were robbed by the officiating crew of being able to utilize. 16 and a half seconds with a timeout. Who knows what you're down by one, hit a jump shot, you win the game. It's insane to me that this happens
to these
over
referees
and over.
in the last 30 seconds of games involving the Sacramento
They
Kings?
lose their collective minds. I don't know. Chris Verlade, do you have an answer? What happens
They put on
in
blinders.
Kings games at the end? What?
I think everyone's just like, oh, wait, Kings aren't supposed to be good, so they obviously can't be in this game.
And there was another one, too, I want to bring up. Deuce Mason had this. He tweeted out. Chris told us today, and I think Cole G on YouTube, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Give us a thumbs up as we vent with all of you, and also subscribe. Cole G says the obvious 24-second violation by Curry, that is supposed to be reviewed.
that one too.
Yeah. So you had an obvious 24-second violation by Curry, supposed to be reviewed during a timeout, but the refs accidentally forgot to reverse it, look at it. Then you had the Huerter miss at the end of the game, and sandwiched in between those two missed calls was a missed travel on Curry. You had 3 calls. All 3 would have dramatically changed this game, a one-possession game on the road.
And, I tend to think NBA referees, of all the major sports, I think they're the best ones. But for some reason, when it comes to the Kings, Major League Baseball umpires are the worst. NFL referees, close second. NBA referees are pretty good, I think. And I usually give them the benefit of the doubt, as I did 6 days ago about the speed of the game. There's a lot of bodies flying around. It's easy to sit back and second guess and armchair quarterback this stuff. But when we all see it in real time, man, and you're standing 2 feet away from it with eyes directly on what we all saw, and there's no way to rectify that, because that's pure incompetence.
Pure incompetence.
That's flat out incompetence, and there's no way to correct that. There's no mechanism to correct that. That was plain as day. I didn't need a 2-minute report today.
Right.
I know you didn't.
Nope.
I know a lot of people watching that game didn't. We all knew what the 2-minute report was going to say today, and we didn't give a damn. And we still don't give a damn.
And I had a troll last night. I'm guessing this person is a Warriors fan. That's all good and grand, but they were interacting in the chat last night while I was doing the recap show at YouTube. And thanks to everybody who listened. It was a tremendous night. Tons of traffic. I appreciate all of you. Somebody jumped in and said, oh, I love the whining. Look, as I said last night, it's not whining when it's a justified beef. And when you look at this, we hold players to a standard. The Aaron Fox is held to a standard at the end of games. Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, they're held to a standard. The referees are also held to a standard, and we need to hold them to a very high standard on calls that they miss, like this one last night, when you're like 30 inches away from Kevin Huerter getting fouled not once, not twice, but 3 times. And what it does is it bails out Klay Thompson. Like, Klay is not held accountable for a completely boneheaded decision and foul. Like, what is Klay Thompson doing?
Yeah, clearly hacking a guy
And he gets
in that spot.
and he gets away with it. Like, Huerter is forever away from the basket. Desperation 3. What is Klay Thompson doing? And Klay gets bailed out because the official doesn't do his
And
job.
it wasn't even, I know they're cracking down on like the unnatural shooting motions, and they don't want to give fouls on those, and even are calling offensive fouls sometimes on those. Kevin Huerter went up with a very natural shooting motion, and Klay Thompson he hit him in the wrist and the forearm. Fouled him twice.
Yep.
On the same shot.
And if you count the hand to the back, which I think was a
3.
little shove towards the fans in the front row, that could have been the 3rd foul. And sometimes we get all wrapped up in just the vacuum of the call. Another thing I would say about this is a team that is under a mandate. This is a team that's been told by ownership that they need to get to the playoffs, whether it's the play-in or the playoffs. And I'm telling you, the way the Western Conference is, every single one of these games matter. Like, literally, if Vivek Ranadive and ownership are going to fire Monte McNair for not making the play-in this year, the playoffs, these 2 games against Miami and last night against Golden State, those losses could literally cost Monte McNair a job.
If they miss it by 1 game.
Yep.
If they miss it by 1 game, these referees might have cost a guy a job.
Absolutely outrageous.
And they'll be back in stripes next year.
916-339-1140 is the text line. The phone number is 1-800-920-1140. Again, you can join us, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. We want your reaction